Welcome back, Smooth Skins. Oil up that leathery radiated skin. We have a new Fallout trailer to break down, and there's tons of new info here that point to where the season is headed. From Macaulay Culkin and Caesar's Legion, a Brotherhood of Steel civil war, and our journey to New Vegas. Keep in mind, this video has some game and Season 1 spoilers, so head on back to Goodsprings if that isn't for you. We open on the ghoul outside the north entrance to the Strip. We can tell by the iconic gates leading from Freeside. You might recall that Freeside is the turf of the Kings, a band of Elvis-inspired gang members who run their operations out of the King's School of Impersonation. We'll get a lovely look of one of these sexy fellows in front of the gate, but notice also the Hoover Dam poster in the background. In Fallout New Vegas, the Hoover Dam is of extreme strategic importance. It provides electricity and irrigation water to the Mojave and beyond. Whoever controls the dam controls the region, so we'll see various factions like the New California Republic, Caesar's Legion, and Mr. House, who runs New Vegas, vying for control. We get a look at some creatures you'd only find in Asmongold's house. First, a rad scorpion munching on one of its own. Then we have a rad roach attacking the snake oil salesman from Season 1. The last we saw him, he exchanged an unknown serum to Thaddeus in exchange for a fusion core. We can actually see this fusion core here. We'll later see the salesman on his way to New Vegas. If you want a detailed breakdown of the different types of iconic New Vegas buildings we can see here, check out my first teaser breakdown, which I'll leave a link to in the description. When Thaddeus applies this serum, his foot is healed instantly. However, it looks as though this serum has a downside, turning him into my ex-girlfriend. We'll see the mutations take over his body. So I really like this idea of seeing the ghoulification process over time. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the snake oil salesman survives this encounter, as we'll see him brutally stabbing the rad roach with a bunch of yellow blood oozing out. We'll see Thaddeus reteam with Maximus. Thaddeus was Maximus's squire when Maximus pretended to be a knight, so it looks like these two have gotten back together. Our first look at Lucy, the ghoul, and Dogmeat on their way to New Vegas. Both of them are on the hunt for the same man, albeit for different reasons. This is Lucy's father, Hank, who we learned in Season 1 was secretly a Vault-Tec executive who nuked Shady Sands, effectively turning Lucy's mom into a feral ghoul. The ghoul wants Hank as he may know where his wife and daughter are sealed away. Either way, these two want answers. Here we get a shot of Vault 33, or Lucy's home vault from Season 1. And I just love the Pompeii-esque bodies entombed in ash. Inside, we have a bunch of vault dwellers with these sort of application forms. Someone at the front of this doorway has a clipboard. They're celebrating something with song and dance, and it looks like things are going well here. There's strawberries, cookies, and cake. It could be a Vault birthday, or maybe it has something to do with the Products of Inbreeding Support Group poster on the wall. Here's Lucy's brother, Norm, where we last left him in Vault 31, the vault that held this secret executive cryopods. If you recall, Bud the Robot Brain locked him in here, suggesting he takes his father's cryopod to wait the potentially hundreds of years before it's safe to go out again. It looks like he's getting down to work, trying to find a way out. Later in the trailer, it looks like he gets his way out, and we'll see him and other members of Vault 31 arrive outside by the Santa Monica Pier, echoing Lucy's journey in Season 1. Hank arriving at what appears to be an empty Vault-Tec facility. In the teaser trailer, we get this shot of him here. Maybe it's the same place. He's cleaned himself up and gotten into a snazzy suit indicative of a Vault-Tec CEO, plus he's got himself a new Pip-Boy. The ghoul in front of Camp Golf. This is a New California Republic staging ground located on the north shore of Lake Las Vegas. It's basically a Mr. House resort turned NCR camp and symbol of the NCR's expansion into the Mojave. Here, however, it looks empty and abandoned. We'll see this NCR soldier in front of a similar NCR tent, however we can't really make out if this is Camp Golf or not. She talks to the ghoul stating, "The stuff we fight for, story has it, you used to believe in those things too." The NCR believe in many of the ideals of the old United States, democracy, rule of law, and stable society, so we might see a little team up between the ghoul and the NCR, especially if it gets him closer to finding his daughter. Here's the ghoul's wife Barb at Vault-Tec. Notice the Pip-Boy, and she's holding on to a photo of her family. It's like she knows she might not see them again. Lucy here, and check out the background. These appear to be the rusted gears of a Fallout vault. I love the idea of Lucy exploring new vaults. This was one of my favorite things to do in the game, as each vault had creepy and disturbing backstories. In Fallout lore, Vault-Tec built 122 vaults across the United States. The ghoul tells us there's one thing that keeps him going: finding his family, so maybe this vault holds some clue to finding that. With his wife being a Vault-Tec employee, it's likely she was frozen in one of these cryo chambers. His daughter, however, was with him the day the bombs went off, and we don't know what happened to her. One major theory is that his wife and daughter are connected to a vault owned or overseen by Mr. House, who we'll get to in a moment. We get this shot of a cloaked figure and what might be some sort of lantern. If you combine this with the ghoul's voiceover, it suggests it's him. We'll see the human form of the ghoul here, Cooper Howard, embracing his daughter Janie. This doesn't seem to be your run-of-the-mill, "hey, I'm home." The look on his face is one of tremendous relief. In the teaser trailer, we see this shot of him picking Janie up as people run in the background and a vertibird flies overhead. Maybe there's some sort of attack and he gets separated from his daughter. This shot looks like it could be after a dust-up with a super mutant, as we'll next hear the line,
"Well then, you're gonna need friends. There's a war coming."
We have not seen a super mutant on the show, but the deep low voice suggests the ghoul will team up with one. The trailer then teases an impending war as we get this shot of a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel ships. From this shot in the teaser, we can see that this is Area 51. I cannot wait to see what messed up shit is there. Zach Cherry as Woody Thomas. The last we saw him, he was transferred to Vault 32, and his fate's unknown. Here's Chet holding on to who is almost certainly Steph Harper's baby after her husband died. So he's probably taken over this role of stepdad/surrogate dad. I wasn't able to identify this person. She may be an extra or new character, but the sign behind her reads Products of Inbreeding Support Group. I personally would just show up for the popcorn. Here we have your standard New Vegas playground, and if you look real close, you can see a hatch to the tiny rocket ship here swing open. So maybe these two figures did something to cause these structures to rise from the ground. My first instinct is that they're rockets, but they don't particularly look like rockets unless these are protective shells that will come off. A rogue vertibird arrives with Kumail Nanjiani's character talking about a civil war. We saw in the teaser trailer infighting between the Brotherhood. Although his character hasn't officially been named, I'm guessing he's Arthur Maxson, the future Brotherhood leader from Fallout 3 and 4, judging by this similar style coat. We'll see him teaming up with Maximus as the struggle for who controls the Brotherhood rages on. Here's a shot of someone in power armor taking on a Securitron. This could be Hank or perhaps Kumail Nanjiani's character, considering this shot alongside Maximus in the teaser. Lucy here in Freeside. We can make out the dilapidated Welcome to New Vegas sign in the background before she blasts a ghoul in the face. The ghoul in Mr. House's chamber in the Lucky 38 casino. This is the same console area we saw from the flashback in the teaser. For those unfamiliar with the game, Mr. House now lives in a sort of life support hibernation chamber and communicates through this digital console. Lucy here stating, "We're actually beginning to get along," so maybe she and the ghoul are warming up to one another. Here we'll see her wielding a power fist. I would not want to be punched by one of those. I love this shot of an explosion going off in a Kaiser's Legion encampment. Kaiser's Legion is another New Vegas faction vying for control, and we'll see Lucy is caught by them. Dane and Elder Cleric Quintus of the Brotherhood of Steel. In Season 1, Quintus proposed working with Maximus in overthrowing the current Brotherhood leadership, seeing them as weak, corrupt, and stuck in the past. Betty here escorted by 2 Vault guards. The last we saw her, she was elected the Overseer of Vault 33 after Hank's abduction. It's possible she's been exposed as being one of Bud's Buds, the junior exec program where members were cryogenically frozen and later revived to help run Vaults 31, 32, and 33. Macaulay Culkin here as a member of Kaiser's Legion. Now, he could be playing one of 2 characters. Kaiser himself, who in the game is a ruthless but captivating leader dying from a brain tumor, or his second in command, Lanius, who's even more ruthless. I'm just really excited to see him in this role. Here's Hank putting a small device on a mouse, later watching it explode. He'll say, try again. looks like he's conducting experiments, much like many of the vaults have been used as experiments. This shot here is a continuation of a raider attack against Lucy and the Ghoul that we originally saw in the teaser. It takes place in Novak by the famous Dinky the T-Rex statue. Here's Steph Harper running away in a bridal dress. This doesn't look like a scared to get married situation, she looks legitimately terrified. Here's Lucy driving into the side of an underground garage of sorts. I'm gonna guess this is somewhere in New Vegas, as the cart she's in doesn't look military, and check out what she's wearing. You can make out this nice white wraparound top / dress. She also looks all cleaned up here, so maybe she was attending some ritzy Vegas party. Dogmeat being a good boy. And here we have Thaddeus, Maximus, and the Ghoul walking down the main street of Freeside. We can see the Silver Rush Casino on the left and the torn down highway in the background. It looks like they've amassed a group of townfolks to their cause. There seem to be two problems in Freeside, the Kings and a Deathclaw. Everyone here seems a little too calm for it to be a Deathclaw, so maybe the Ghoul is helping take back control of the city from the Kings. Here we have Maximus taking on a Deathclaw, one of the game's most formidable enemies. We got a glimpse of a Deathclaw's skull at the end of Season 1. The final shots of the trailer see Lucy and the Ghoul outside the entrance to New Vegas. We can see the Gamora Casino ahead and Mick and Ralph's pawn shop on the left. I, for one, am super stoked about the upcoming season, which debuts about a month from now on December 17th. But now I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen? And let me know any details I missed. And be sure to like and subscribe, I plan on breaking down the whole season. Thanks for watching. For more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
Daddy loves you very much.